Hey, it was Adam for TexasBoy91 here, and I'm back with some Madden 25 Ultimate Team with this week's Q&A. About a couple weeks ago, I teased my first fight, and a lot of you guys really wanted to hear me tell you the stories of my first fight, so let's get right into it. I want to say this happened when I was in elementary. I had just got back to Texas from visiting Colorado, and I lived in Nacogdoches for about 3 or 4 years of my life. And I used to hang with my buddy Tony all the time, but I haven't seen him in a while since I lived in Colorado. So we got back down here, we chilled for a little bit, and it was hot, like 99 degrees, so we decided to walk down to the community center to go swimming to cool off. So we get down there, we go swimming. My cousin Tony, who's about 3 or 4 years older than me, I'm not too sure anymore, I haven't seen that guy in a while, he decided to start splashing water. And this fight, I'm thinking about it, it started over splashing water. But he started splashing water, and one of the guys did not like him splashing water in a pool, which is pretty much what a pool is created for, but that's neither here nor there. But he got really mad at him splashing water, and that pretty much started the whole altercation. And that guy said, once you guys get out of here, I'm going to go get my homies, and we gonna start something. And we were so nervous. That was one of the slowest days ever. We waited in that pool for about a good hour and a half. Like, we weren't trying to leave because there's two of us. And you never want to fight more guys than you can handle, because that pretty much results in a world star moment. But this is before cameras and Vine and all this stuff. So nobody would have saw this. We would have came home with our shirts bloody. But let's get back to the story. We pretty much got out of the pool. We took the longest shower of all time, and we were just sitting there. We were just sitting there waiting. Waited there for about an hour and a half again. And then all of a sudden we said, let's just go. We walk outside, and there was nobody. And we were so happy. So we ended up walking to the house. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like 5 guys and a bunch of people behind him show up and be like, hey, stop. And it came out of nowhere. They blindsided. Like, they were planning. They jumped out of the bushes and they just spooked us. So there are all these guys standing behind us. And they're like, let's do this. And they wanted to fight. And my cousin had the best lie. He said you had to get home because we're gonna whoop us. We're gonna get home on time. So I guess those guys bought it. It was kind of stupid, but kids believe anything. So we got to the house, and then we pretty much avoided the fight that day. Went to sleep, and the next day we decided to get up and go back for some reason to the same community center, which didn't make any sense. Yeah, we ran into those guys again. Yeah, that's not a good look. We ran into the same guys again, and those same guys remembered us from the day before, and they still wanted to whoop some ass. So what ended up happening was my uncle was a smart guy in the situation. He was a lot lankier and skinnier than me. He just ran away. He just ran his butt home, and I pretty much was the slow guy in the group out of the 2 people, so I pretty much ran home as well, but they could see where we were running. So they followed me to the house, and we were pretty much circled by a bunch of people. Like, I'm not exaggerating. It had to be at least 20 kids. And we were circled by all of them. And my uncle ran inside, and I got caught from behind, and I could not get inside. And pretty much I got forced into a fight. And I don't know how to fight. So I pretty much, one guy came out of this. It was like I'm trying to think of a movie like you guys would see. It's like a Fight Club scene where there's a bunch of guys like, yeah, fight. I'm in the middle, just walking around pacing back and forth, and the guy's over there with his shirt off, flexing, showing off with the lady. It was just like a movie scene that was occurring, and they kind of fought fair. It was not like a jumping. It was pretty much a Fight Club scene. It was not fun. It wasn't fun at all, but it was interesting to see how that took place. Looking back in my head right now. So the fight took place. I did absolutely nothing. This dude hit me in the jaw 8 times. He just said, whap, just kept sticking me in the face. And I just took it, just kept taking it. I wasn't doing anything. And after a while, he just stopped. And then he said, oh, you don't want to fight? And then they just left. Like, the whole thing could have been avoided if we said we didn't want to fight. But the guy hit me in the jaw 8 times, and he just left. Everybody left. They just walked off, and they went home. And I'm like, damn, I got my ass whooped because I didn't do anything here. I just took the beating like a man, and it was embarrassing. I'm young. I don't know how to fight. Only thing I know I see off is kung fu stuff off television. That's not going to do anything in a fight. And this guy put them hands on me and embarrassed me, and I'm pretty sure I started to cry, but I don't want to say I started to cry. That's not a manly thing to do. It was just a whole bad situation. I never forgave my uncle because he put me, or my cousin. I never forgave my cousin for putting me in that situation because it didn't make any sense. Like, I just got here and I'm taking an ass whooping because something you started. That didn't make any sense to me. I got jaw jacked 8 times and they just walked off. He came outside. I'm over here like I was so pissed. I wanted to fight him, but I don't know how to fight, so it resulted in him just sitting on me. It was just bad. So that was my first fight that took place, and I want to say I took a lot more. I think I had 3 more fights in my entire career. I want to say 3 more fights. 2 of them were pushes, which really wouldn't be a fight. One of them was actually a fight, and that fight was mean. But it was nothing. I don't want to tell that fight. That fight was that fight was bad, and I'm not telling that one. That fight's never gonna get set on record because I think the statute of limitations aren't up yet. And I ain't trying to go to jail for something that's. I'm not trying to be one of these rappers that snitch on themselves about a fight that took place a while ago. Not happening. But that's pretty much the fight that took place when I was a young kid. And like you usually remember stuff that happens to you that bad. Like I don't say I was scarred because of it, but it taught me a life lesson. It taught me never ever trust people when you just meet them. Because I knew my cousin, of course, but you don't know their character, you don't know what they're gonna do. A lot of guys might have your back, a lot of guys won't have your back, and it pretty much just says, all right, you know who you can hang out with, you know who you can't hang out with, and just try to treat it that way. And yeah, never put your hands or trust somebody that you just met, even though you may be related to them. That generally doesn't result in anything I find to be a good idea whatsoever. So that was my first fight story. Video's still going on right now, so I got a couple questions to answer real quick. Somebody asked me, who are my favorite top 5 Panthers? And it was tough to think about this. Usually I think of things in 4s, but 5 is kind of a little bit easier. Of course, Cam Newton, one of my favorite Panthers of all time. You know, he just got there. I like what he does with the franchise, and hopefully he can lead the franchise to a championship. If not, he can continue to get them great success. Steve Smith is number 2 on that list. Great player. Gave a lot of respect to that guy. He 5'9", just a beast, testosterone on high. One of the better players in the NFL when I watched him play. That 2008 season was underrated. So check it out on YouTube if you guys have not seen it. He was so good that 2008 season. And that might have been his best year. And he's probably not going to be in the Hall of Fame, but I think he deserves to be in there. Next will be Julius Peppers. Love that guy steering with the Panthers. One of the best defensive ends for that team. Could stop the run, could stop the pass. I was kind of hoping he would go back to the Panthers for the last couple seasons, but he wanted all that money in Green Bay, so I don't blame that guy whatsoever. Now, the next 2 are tricky because I want to say Jake Delhomme. But I will never forgive that guy for that 2007. Just like he just melted down. Like it wasn't 7. It couldn't have been 7. Was it 2009? It was a bad in the NFC Championship game. He melted down in that game and he threw 5 picks and a fumble. It was against the Cardinals. I will never forgive him for that game. That game was so bad. Came back the next season, took all the money, was just bad, just awful. So he's not gonna be on the list. But I'm thinking I'm gonna go with Deshaun Stevenson. I think that might be. Is it Deshaun Stevenson or Deshaun Foster? I get them confused because I think there's a Stephen Davis. Yeah, Stephen Davis and Deshaun Foster. Deshaun Foster or Stephen Davis, obviously. And then I'm gonna go with Jonathan Stewart to round that list off. Jonathan Stewart, when he was healthy, just so good at what he did, and him being hurt kind of sucks. And I'm not really throwing any respect to any old Panthers because I didn't really watch those guys play, but hey, that's my list. You guys just got to deal with it. I'm not going to go ahead and change anybody because I didn't watch them play, so I'm not going to be affected by them. Same thing with movies. If I didn't watch that old black and white movie, I'm not going to put them on the best movies of all time because I don't think it's great if it's that old. A lot of movies that are great are going to be newer ones because they look a lot better. But that's the video, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed my first fight. Hopefully it was in good enough detail. Get punched in the jaw 8 times. Doesn't feel pretty or pleasant at any age in your career or in your life. Like, you don't want to get punched in the jaw at all. It's not a good look. Not a good look at all. But that's the video. I'm the Texas boy. I am out of this mother bleeper. Peace.